Welcome to my studio here on the South Shores of Boston, Massachusetts. Well, these canvases are finally completed, and one of them, maybe both of them, will be submitted tomorrow at the South Shore Arts Center in Cohasset for their Blue Ribbon Show, which I think is in the next week or two. So these canvases are a long time in the making, and I think I'm fairly happy with how they turned out, but it's time to move on to the next round of canvases. I have another canvas this large that's in the workings. This is a 5 by 4 canvas. And then I have another canvas. It's probably, it's no more than 2 feet wide, and it's not quite 4 feet high. It's probably 3. It's probably a 1.5 by 3. The next large scale canvas will again be another sailboat scape, but the thinner canvas, I mentioned this to you last time, a couple weeks ago, that canvas is going to focus solely on the horizon line. I think that's the most important element in both of these, is the horizon line. The boats are like us. They're not permanent, but the sky and the sea and the land will always be around. So enough philosophy on these. There's something else I wanted to talk to you about on this round for the weekly. A lot of people have been asking me about my enzos and about meditation. I mean, these pieces, all of my work is based on meditation, emerges out of my meditation. I could not create these guys without meditation, that's for sure. And like a submerging myself into the environment. You know, like I walk to the ocean every single day and just stare at that water and stare at the skies, but in meditation and like immersing myself within those elements. And the same thing happens with my Enzo work, but my Enzos are really direct results for meditation. They happen in meditation. And so a lot of people ask me about meditation. And the last 2 or 3 weeks, a couple individuals who are trying to get into meditation asked me specifically, they're like, Matthias, what is the practical result from meditation? What is the practical reality? What do you get out of meditation, practically speaking? And it's yesterday morning, I was, during praying the Psalms, I came up with an answer. It just struck me, a memory from long ago. Now, this is Psalms 32 and 33. The beginning, Psalms 32 focuses in on people or collective groups of people who are experiencing struggle, problems, and then as you move along in Psalm 33, the conflict is resolved and dies down and things become peaceful again. That's the progression of those two psalms. And the struggle, the psalm uses a lot of language around water, turbulence of water, waves, and the fact that people or collective groups of people are drowning in waves. You know, their troubles are drowning them. And then it gets resolved in Psalms 33 as you move on. Now, many, many years ago, probably 9 years ago, I had this fabulous trip in Tolima, Mexico. And I was in a pagoda right on the ocean. And I was there for about a week. And one night, I went to bed and the ocean was very turbulent. You could just hear the waves crashing and banging. And it woke me up. And so I went out to take a look at the ocean. And there was this long pier, stretching out into the ocean. And the waves were just smashing the pier and all this water. And I kept walking down that pier. And I was getting wet. I could feel the waves. I was just immersed in the spray of the waves and the roaring sound of the waves. And I kept walking like the ocean was calling me. And I was near the end of the pier. And before I knew it, there was a loud noise. I was all wet and I got swept into the ocean. And I got pulled out into the ocean. Now, I was a lifeguard in high school, junior, senior year. The first thing they suggested to you, if you got dragged into the water by waves, remain still and buoyant. Do not fight the waves. You will not win, and you will drown. You'll tire yourself out. Easier said than done. When your adrenaline is pumping, fight or flight adrenaline, you're panicking, like, where the heck am I? I'm out in the middle of the ocean. But I had a lot of years of meditation under my belt at that point. And so, I remained still, I listened, and I trusted. And eventually, those waves that took me out brought me back in. And I don't know how long I was out there for, but I eventually landed on the beach line. And I got up, walked back to my pagoda, took a hot shower, and went to bed. And I woke up the next morning. And boy, was that a beautiful morning. And that is exactly what meditation is to do for you. Be still, be silent, and listen, and trust. And you eventually will wash up on the shorelines of your life. Until next week, stay creative.